After watching the concert scene on accident, I was a little bit worried, like, Reggie, Scooby-Doo-Doo. But I watched the anime anyways, and it was honestly really good. It made me remember why I originally loved this series, and with the nostalgia hitting, I decided I gotta reread it. But then the crippling reality of the current state of Lookism kicked in, and I've been a little upset ever since. I feel like it lost a little bit of its touch somewhere, losing some of the themes it once had, featuring a very bloated character cast, and some of the magic and the mysteries going bye-bye. But did it really fall off? Did I just get disconnected with the way the story was going? Or did it simply evolve into something different over time, something called gangism? Lookism is a webtoon created by Park Tae-hyun in November 2014. It follows Park Hyung-suk, who I'm going to call Daniel, who is a chubby, unpopular poor kid who gets bullied day in and day out. He ends up moving due to intense bullying and ends up with two bodies. The new one is a pretty boy Korean guy who has all the ladies swooning, while with his old body, nobody even paid him the time of day. With these two bodies, he views the world through two different lenses, which ends up showcasing the idea of lookism, as his two bodies are treated differently based off appearance. Daniel has to learn to live with these two different bodies, and the shenanigans that follows makes it an enjoyable read. The premise of Lookism is very interesting, with the different bodies being juggled, and the view on Lookism that the story presents. Following Daniel in his attempts to boost his self-esteem, his self-image, and his confidence, all while making new friends and enemies, makes for an enjoyable read. I'd also like to include anything related to my homie Vasco is also slice of life. His arcs are goated! That's why he to go! The current story of Lookism is mainly focused on the four crews, with Daniel and his friends' attempts to destroy them. These four big crews are God Dog to the north, Workers to the south, Hostile to the east, and Big Deal to the west. Workers are currently the big bad. They destroyed Hostile by integrating them in through blackmail, and they defeated Big Deal through a large battle that ended with the police hunting for them. After their defeat, Daniel forms his own crew with which to curb the influence of the Workers. Now that we got a little background and overview of the current state of Lookism's story, let's dive into a few of the arcs that showcased the different eras of Lookism. Probably the pinnacle of Lookism is the festival arc. It's mainly centered around Duke, who is a total loser in terms of popularity. Bro gets dogged on by this clown named Vinjin because he wants to be a rapper, and Vinjin looks down on him for being poor and fat and ugly. They both go to an audition, and Vinjin is chosen because he looks hip, and Duke is shafted for his appearance. Duke doesn't give up, and he vows to keep going to be like his idol, Eminem. Duke then befriends Daniel, and they prep to work together in the festival. Vasco gets a cute part too. That's what we love to see. We meet Gun in this arc, with Daniel and Vasco getting clapped because Daniel tried to talk to Crystal. Finally, we get the concert that Duke and Daniel worked so hard for. They kill it. It's goated. Vinjin's manager comes over to them and asks Daniel to join. Once again, Duke gets shafted for his appearance, even though he had a superb performance. But my boy Duke, he never gives up and keeps going again, even with all the bad shit. It's like peak Lookism, dude. Daniel is picked for being hot and Duke is not. The arc that is the climax of Lookism, as well as what I'd say is the end of Lookism, is Logan Lee versus Daniel Park. It is the ultimate showdown of Daniel versus his oldest bully, with everything on the line. Logan forces Zoe to be his girlfriend, which makes everyone in the school uneasy, as they think it is crazy that this is happening. Daniel himself gets really upset that she doesn't message him back, and now she's dating his bully? After finding out that she's being blackmailed, he finally grows a pair. He beats Logan's ass. Let's go, he's becoming a champion. He also gets over his feelings of inferiority to his second body, and with his main body he vows to finally become real friends with his friends. It's so good. It shows off the greatness of Lookism with all the feelings of inadequacy, a focus on actual Lookism, and overcoming it, while also having a really cool fight. Now let's look at an arc that epitomizes gangism, the hunt for Big Deal. This arc's mainly about bringing Big Deal down, with the Workers performing an all-out assault, while Big Deal attempts to use all of its strength to take down Workers through an assassination plot, a bait attack using Jake, and then their main forces holding down the fort. The story pretty much boils down to twist after twist, and the fights are just punch punch, Kick, kick, punch, woo! Haha, I'm super strong. Now I win, woo! Oh no, actually Jobs. New challenger approaches. It's pretty easy to read what's gonna happen. The arc's good though, I like it. It's simple, but effective. Eugene is a good villain. Dude's a little shit, but I can't help but like him. And Big Deal is my favorite of the 4 big gangs, so any content on them is great. But the overall feel of the arc is wildly different from the other arcs I've gone over. There's a lack of focus on the lookism aspect, and more of a fight to the death because, Charles is bad or something? Honorable mention for the best arc in the goddamn story. My boy Vasco's arc, Li Un Te. Okay. The mystery of Daniel's 2 bodies has been a central part of the plot since the story started, and honestly, I've never really been interested. As the story's been going, it's pretty much the main thing that the author has been pushing. Every few chapters it's like this. The secret is... And then we still don't learn anything, other than, it's my boy Charles who knows. And I gotta say, it's really tiresome. It's all so tiresome. I don't care. Stop. Tell me or don't. Stop blue balling me. Is gangism worse than lookism? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because you gotta take into account that I'm suffering from nostalgia and recency bias as we currently speak. The recency bias relates to the most recent arcs, which I've been keeping up with and I've been enjoying it, which is skewing my view of it in a positive sense. Then with nostalgia, I also love OG Lookism, which I first read like 3 or 4 years ago, and it really hits a different spot for me. If you don't like Lookism's current state, that's fine, right? Sometimes being long can destroy a story, and if it's ruined for you, just move on, man. This is the path the author wants the story to go, and I'm fine with that. I mean, it's still enjoyable, it just doesn't feel as deep emotionally. Hey guys, Arm Candle here. This is like the 3rd time I've remade this script because I've really wanted to tackle the beast that is Lookism. My last one was like double this, but I'm satisfied with what I put out today, and I might come back to Lookism again in the future. My thoughts are a little bit more coherent, and when some of the bias is gonski. I also don't feel like currently I can really showcase how great Lookism is either, so that's a little bit of a factor. Until then though, this is your homie, maidenless, friendless, Arm Candle, signing off. Peace out, squaw.